Hi, this is Miriam from Keto My Way. A little bit windblown today and you may hear traffic in the back. I decided to take a walk today along the Esplanade, which is a beautiful walkway along the Charles River. It's sunny and it's warm and it's beautiful, and the past couple of days I've enjoyed walking here, and I just decided to come out again. So I was thinking along my walk, because this wasn't my first stop, I've been walking for a little while, about what to do for today's video. Since I'm away from home, so I'm not cooking anything, I can't show you anything, but I wanted to talk about a subject that would be pertinent to everyone. And I'll tell you, I've mentioned it before, but also I wanted to say that if I had seen this as one of my first videos, I would have appreciated it. And even now, almost a year into this, like 9 months, I still appreciate it. It's still something that I'm learning. And I want to talk about the ease and the expense of doing keto. Last week I showed you my grocery haul with all those cheeses, and then I showed you a picture of the radishes and the spinach and the butter and everything that I bought. Well, I have to tell you, I haven't even opened the cheese yet. I did buy a package of 3 knotwurst. The third one is just today. What else did I have? All the vegetables. I've only used a handful of spinach. Last night we used 1 bunch of asparagus. I had bought 2. The Kerrygold butter, I bought 2 of them because I got them at BJ's and I don't like to go there too often. Only a few tablespoons out of the first tub has been used, so I'm going to have months of butter ahead of me. So that 1 week haul, that 1 day haul is probably good for about 2 or 3 weeks of groceries. Granted, during the week, a couple of nights my husband was home and he had bought steak and he grilled it, and one night for himself he had swordfish. But I didn't have to buy any other salad ingredients. I didn't have to buy any side vegetable ingredients. Everything that I've been bringing for lunch this week is what I had bought last Saturday. And so 1 day's haul is probably good, except for the fresh, like if you're going to get fresh meat or fresh fish or something. But all that stuff that I had in that picture on my table is good for, I would say, another week, and probably 3 weeks I'll have even things left over. I was concerned about the produce. If I was home, I'd show you, but they have special produce bags that probably they're sold at almost any grocery store. They're a light green bag and they're sold in packages of maybe 10 or 15 bags, and they're different sizes, and they're made to keep your produce fresh, and I have to tell you, they absolutely work. When I do a video from home, I'll get one out and show you. I don't have the original packaging, but next time I'm in the supermarket, I could actually use more, so I'll buy another one and show you. But the spinach is like it was picked yesterday. The asparagus, if you know and you've kept asparagus, that sometimes the bottom of the stalks can get shriveled a little bit and they get a funky flavor. The asparagus is fresh picked. The radishes is like they're fresh picked. The spinach is like it's fresh picked. Those produce bags are fantastic. And if you're going to do one haul, I suggest using those produce bags. I didn't know that this haul was going to last 2 or 3 weeks. So that's something I'm still getting used to. And so that's what I wanted to say. If you're starting keto, don't overbuy perishable things, which sort of segues me into the next thing, is that keto does not have to be expensive. But I was listening to some very good podcasts, because I know in an earlier video I said just do keto and don't worry about the grass-fed meat and the pastured eggs and the organic the meats and stuff, and I still stand by that, because it's better to do keto without all that special stuff than it is to not do keto. So go ahead and do it. But they were just talking about the nutrients. For instance, in the eggs, there's more omega 3 in that, and they're forget what it is, but just the composition of a lot of these foods are healthier for you, and especially if you start turning to high-fat meats. The fat in the meat of a pasture-raised animal, or at the very least organic, although organic still uses grains and soy and everything like that, but you want to try to keep on going up in the grade, because all of that translates into the animal fat, and in turn you get it. Oh, and I remember there was something else that somebody was saying, that even though she's on keto, and even more so since she's been on keto, she is bothered by the things that indicate a gluten allergy. And the doctor that was being interviewed said, you don't think of this, but unless you go for grass-fed beef, if you're eating conventional beef, especially if you're eating fatty cuts of beef, if those cows have been raised on grains and corn and soy and all of that, that translates to the meat and the fat. And so sometimes when people turn to keto without going into the better quality food, because they're eating more fat, they're eating more meat, they're eating more eggs, they're eating more butter, that sometimes they will, I have the hiccups, that sometimes they will actually have an increase in their symptoms. And I thought that was very interesting. And I also had read a recipe, it was for buttercream frosting, and she said, whatever else you do, get the organic butter raised on grass-fed cows. She said they tried this particular recipe with regular butter, Philadelphia cream cheese, whatever else was in it, and then they tried it with the organic butter and regular cream cheese and whatever else. Then they tried it with the grass-fed butter, and whatever the combinations, they found that the grass-fed butter was a game changer. And so if you're baking, try to go for the grass-fed. And also, what some people don't realize is that butter comes salted and unsalted. If you're baking, you probably want to go for unsalted. Before keto, I always bought unsalted and used it on everything. And if I wanted salt, I added salt. Now that I'm doing keto, I buy salted butter. So I just wanted to alert you to that. I don't think it makes a difference if you're putting it on vegetables or cooking with it or something, but I think if you're baking, you might want the unsalted butter. So just saying that there. The other thing I wanted to address, along with how keto doesn't have to be expensive, let me just backtrack for 1 second. If you think you're spending a lot of money on the organic stuff and the grass-fed stuff, think about what you're not spending on takeout and junk. Just think about it. There's your equalizer right there. Okay, so anyway, on how easy keto is, and 9 months into it, I'm still sort of struggling. Some people get this immediately, but I wanted to put this in this video because if you're struggling still, and I'm 9 months keto, you may just need to hear this. And if you're new to keto, you need to hear this. And I talked about it the other day, about when I said I started keto my way. And I was talking about the difference between tracking and not tracking. But there's so many things. I don't know that there exists any other way of eating out there that is so individualized. It comes with lists of foods, sort of. I mean, some lists will say no nuts, no dairy, no whatever, and other ones will say, fine, eat nuts, eat dairy, have as much as you want of green leafy vegetables, and another one say, no, only have 2 cups. Some will say something like Halo Top ice cream fits into keto because if you're counting net carbs, it's low. And someone else will say, I don't care if there's no carbs. If there's sugar and crap in it, it's not keto. So there's so many ways to do keto. Finding what's right. It's not a matter of finding out what's right. because I think they're all right. It gets you away from the standard American diet. It gets you away from a lot of crappy foods, unless you're eating crappy foods that are low carb. But it moves you so far along in your eating habits that anything is good, and you just have to find what's good for you. So if you're just starting, try not to be confused, try not to be discouraged. Do it like I am with the tracking. Do a week or two of one way, and a week or two of another way, and then a week or two of another way, and find what works best for you. And if you're still confused, shake it up. Do a month of something, a month of something, a month of something. Anything is an improvement. If you're dealing with things like insulin resistance like I am, or other things that are very receptive to the keto way of eating, you may really have to fall into a certain way of doing it. But if you're new and you're just trying it out, don't get very confused. I should say that. I'm still confused, but I'm getting better. And please don't worry about the cost of groceries. Don't overbuy, and you'll have a lot of savings in your pocketbook, even if you go for the higher quality foods. So anyway, have a good day, and I will post this in a little while. Bye-bye.